I'd like to invite us to engage with the practice of, um, of mudita in the form of appreciation. So what is mudita for those of you who may not be familiar with the term mudita, the Pali word for vicarious joy. So basically turning towards joy, whether it's joy for our own goodness and blessings or the gifts of other people. So it's a way to really just relax and savor goodness. Relax and savor goodness. And the gift of this practice is especially important because our minds tend to gravitate towards challenges, towards dukkha, towards trauma, towards what's hard, what's difficult. Ouch. And in order to feel resourced, to remember, yes, there is goodness here. There is so much goodness here. This practice allows us to open up to goodness in our lives, the goodness in our lives, in the lives of others, especially when there is difficulty, especially when there is difficulty in our lives and when there's difficulty in the world. It's not a way to put our heads in the sand, not at all. It's not escapism, but the way to open the heart to really fill up our sphere of experience with the fullness of life, with the fullness of life. So we've practiced joy, opening to joy, gratitude, mudita in different ways. And tonight I want to get into it actually slightly differently than I usually guide it. Because as you know, I always like to explore in different ways and invite you to explore your heart, your mind, these spaces through different entryways, because as we enter through different doors, we end up in different chambers of the heart. Like, oh, wow, I didn't know this was possible. As many of you have shared and reported, as we try different doors, different windows, not always the same thing, but just creativity, this practice of the Brahma Viharas, the heavenly abodes, which metta, loving kindness, and mudita, vicarious joy, and gratitude are a part of, are creative practices, are really creative practices to plant seeds. And if you happen to be new to this practice, what I like to say is whatever arises is okay. Don't feel like you're a failure just because you cannot generate joy or you cannot connect with gratitude. And in order to be successful at the practice, it doesn't work like that. It does not. As long as you turn towards whatever arises with kindness, even towards difficulty with appreciation. I'll talk more about this because it's like, what is she talking about? Towards difficulty with appreciation, but it can become available. Then you're doing the practice right. Then the practice, you're planting seeds. It doesn't have to look a particular way. In fact, this practice amazes us. It surprises us in ways that opens us to the dimensionality of our humanity in ways we don't quite know ourselves. We take ourselves to be this limited little two-dimensional being, and then these practices open up our heart to so much possibility. So let yourself be surprised.